all kilt. May the 4th be with you, to the person mentioned in the video title, John Paul MacIsaac. And it'll also acknowledge, I made an ass of myself in the comment section or the discussion page on his YouTube channel back in December 7th, 2020, apparently, because I posted a comment basically amounting to, I'm not sure that this is the YouTube channel that belongs to the guy. He also has a Facebook page and a couple other things. A lovely one was, so is this Facebook prison or just the drunk tank? Like the humor. This is a guy who built a ridiculously pornographically awesome flight simulator rig. Really, really good. And made another one later when the previous one didn't work anymore or something. Has an awesome cat. It's a normal, ordinary human. And runs a computer shop in Delaware at the time. You may not know why, but I'm going to go into some details. These are retro explanations that were given to me after I started working in a computer shop. I didn't take them as gospel, but I did look it up later, and a lawyer or two told me that's not really necessarily how it works, but it's kind of a good way to do an end around the rules so that you are covering your ass, and also so no one can hold you hostage by having you do work for them. Computer repair shops may or may not have a clause or even tell you about it, where if you don't come to collect your laptop, normally this is if they don't pay ahead, and it's a certain period of time, like 90 days or whatever, depending on the city, county, and state you're in, the shop takes ownership of your hardware. Claims that it also includes taking ownership of all data should be doubted as being legal. Potentially a shop could sell, for example, your passwords, claiming ownership to your copyrighted content, your movie that you're working on, your book. It should also be pointed out that the operating system takes up, let's say this is your computer hard drive. Some of you remember defrag and ScanDisk. This over here in this little corner down here is your data. The rest of this is temp files, garbage, copies of Microsoft Windows or Mac OS, all the apps and programs and utilities you dumped on, all the temporary files and garbage, getting churned up like the shit bag that it is. And you can do a surgical backup of what the user has done that's a difference between that software as is and that software after you've typed in your serial numbers or registered it, your temp files. It can even check the operating system to see if there are mutations and alterations because of updates or patches or drivers. And if you're doing a backup copy of a computer, there are many layers to how that backup or copying of data should be done. And Mac users have tools from Apple Corporation and also from users and creators and hackers for this. And I don't believe that John Paul MacIsaac is ignorant of any of this. At the time all this happened, he was not in his 50s yet, apparently. And, well, let's go into some claims and statements, and I'll get to the technical shit in a minute. We have zero proof the laptop is Hunter Biden's property. Would you claim ownership of something that was claimed to prove you committed a crime if it was never yours? Number one, there's reasons you would. For instance, if someone made a lying claim about your property, proving you're guilty, you'd say, yeah, I want it back. You can make a copy of it. I'm going to involve the police. You're making a claim publicly that I'm a criminal based on something you say is my property. Well, it's mine now. Not if you're making a claim, even if you legally did own it from the get-go. If you claim it has evidence against me, one of the funny things is you just say, hi, I'm being accused of being a bank robber, or whatever the hell it is. This guy at the computer shop says I left a computer with him. What do you want us to do about it? I'm claiming this is a legit claim and I want my data back because I need to defend myself in court. Really? Yeah, really. I'm saying that so you have to show up there and take it. I need you to do up a warrant. They walk in. Where's the drive? You posted it on the internet. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. You're being audio-video recorded and you're going to look like shit in a minute. Where is it? Now, it's over there. If it's a real hard drive, okay. We're seizing it. We're imaging all the data. We're going to do a forensics image at our cost. Thanks for causing this problem. And we're going to give it to the person you claim owns it. You claimed no ownership of any of it because you claimed the data on it was only his. Very important distinction. 3 hard drives worth, none of the content belongs to anybody but the person. Or, he's the author of it. Basically what you're saying. Now you're fucked, because if they image it and find out, yeah, this has been tampered with, you're phoning it up. They make up a legal paper because you're demanding they do this. The cops have to show up. I get a legal paperwork up. I say to the FBI, hi, somebody has a hold of something they claim is my property. They claim it's all my property, but it's been altered. I need your forensics team to completely analyze it. By the way, the data backup is over at the police station, and the user has it, and they have to match. This causes a whole bunch of shit to happen. Now, what would be the other reason why you wouldn't claim ownership of something someone's claiming against you? You may have noticed, as a geek, running a computer shop at one time, my statements here are more valid than the idiot on Fox. That drive, more enough evidence, the wrongdoing in Ukraine under the previous Obama administration to make Obama and Joe Biden look bad because it was on Joe Biden's son's laptop. Okay, what you're claiming is now, on a federal level, Joe Biden had information leaked to his son. That information was left behind frivolously and stupidly by someone who's notorious for doing stupid shit like this, apparently. It's now a federal matter. Well, the FBI grabbed it. It's totally like that. And then the FBI gave a report out. Again, anybody claiming the FBI authenticated this or analyzed it never gives me any proof of it. They seized the data. Where'd you get that data from? Was it Giuliani doing yet another expunged version of like the paper trail where it's not clear? You can look at the one marked paper trail below. There's an image of what is claimed by some. I don't know if John Paul MacIsaac is claiming it, but that's the form for dropping off the computer, or is that the receipt for making it? It says invoice. Where's the part that's in fine print but readable at the bottom, right over the signature that you're signing for, that you relinquish ownership of the property if you do not pick it up within 30 days or 90 days or the time period written out by the technician? Not that I can verbatim quote it. Every fucking year for 10 years. At the shop that I ended up running because everybody else ran away and I ended up holding the bag. You're just doing this to defend... you're just running interference, WebTech. I ran a computer shop. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. John, Paul, MacIsaac. All you have to do is a video where you don't get a friendly Fox News host that wants to talk about Joe Biden's laptop or Hunter Biden's laptop or whoever you really think it is. Just, how did you run your shop? Technician to technician. It doesn't have to be me. It just has to be someone who isn't a Republican, who is not giving a shit about the outcome, who could give a crap who's elected. I'm not kidding about this. Don't get some SJWs who are going to immediately bait you so it looks bad either. That's a tactic done by conservatives sometimes. By the way, John Paul MacIsaac doesn't show himself as being a flaming conservative. He's just a Giuliani fanboy. Okay, that's not really necessary. Let's call him that. That's the worst you can say about the guy, is he likes Giuliani, who honestly was a hero after 9/11. I don't see anything wrong with that. Or that he likes Trump. You could say you don't like that, but maybe he's just remembering the way Trump used to be before, when he started running this last time, he turned into something that maybe we shouldn't like. Half the country voted for him and still likes him. Just under half, actually, the entire time. But okay. That's not a criteria. This guy should be reasonable, and I'm not letting him act like he isn't. Another tactic done by conservatives, they tell you, act crazy, act like a true believer, act like a zealot, because then they'll just give up. I don't give up. Mac, if you're watching, did you win the knobbly knees contest? What were your procedures at your shop written down? Did you have anybody working there at the time as well? Any relatives visit that were taking over the shop while you went out to get a coffee or a beer? Tell us. But you're going to have to be asked questions you don't want to answer. Not because they're incendiary and anybody's calling you a liar and you're not being attacked on Twitter here. It's because if you don't know how to run a fucking computer shop correctly, which is what you are telling the world by this stuff not being acknowledged and answered for. No, that's not the form for dropping off a computer. If you were in court saying this is the form that was dropped off, the court would say, you have to return the hardware. And you can't charge them a dime because you can't prove you really had it dropped off there, because that's not a form that you would have a shop. It doesn't have the proper fine print. You can't put it on the back of the page. There's a bunch of goddamn rules in the state and county and city I was in. What were your rules? Do I have to do a video about literally the city, county, and state you're in, and what the rules are if you run a computer shop, best practices that your lawyer should have informed you about? The reason I'm doubting this guy is simply because I have experience in this area. To those of you uninitiated, nothing presented matches up with something that would work in court if you were even trying to collect. Well, I fixed his computer for him and he owes me $100. He's saying you stole it out of his house. Well, I can prove it. Here's the form. And you look at that form. Well, it's got a signature on it of a famous person that you can maybe get a signature for, but not. But really? Oh, yeah, I have Madonna's laptop. It's got nude videos of her on there. She relinquished it because she signed this form that doesn't mention relinquishing shit. That doesn't even mention really precisely what's going on. It doesn't list the number of laptops, number of drives, hardware, its condition it showed up in. The time and date stamp isn't there. I don't care if it's a censored or non-censored. He posted on my channel to tell me the time and date stamp. It's obviously not something that should be censored. It's redacted. That's for dramatic effect. This is a form. Your computer printed out. Someone would sign that should have had everything filled out. Or a handwritten note from the person on it. It had a front and back. The back is for the notes for technician in some shops. My shop did that. That way it wouldn't be on the photocopy unless we needed it included. Okay, let's talk about the data backup that should have been done. But anyway, there's a bunch of links below. This is all I can find about the guy. Let's go on with this. Surgical strike data backup. That's where you have the operating system, the software that was installed in various locations, like programs like Photoshop or whatever, the data files that go with it, and authentications like serial numbers and product keys that you have to back up if you're doing a surgical backup, and then all the data files by the user. The user's data files could amount to maybe 4 or 5 floppies worth of data at one time. These days it may be several thumb drives. Depends on what you're doing. Except for video and audio files, everything would have been tiny. So you back up the largest number of files from them by read-only copying the data over here simply over to a thumb drive or whatever. Then all the video files, everything big. Then, if you're being a good boy like I would, you grab all the serialization codes and make an image, a differential image, of the operating system and the software. If you got a sophisticated shop, you do it. Otherwise, you don't. Or just run a utility that backs up all the data to restore it later. That way, he could take his data if you came by. Where's my computer? We sold all the hardware, but here's your data on a thumb drive. It's free. Sorry, but you didn't come and pick it up. Okay, well, I got my data back. That's what I really care about. He wanders out with his thumb drive or hard drive loaded with data. Give him the smallest hard drive out of all the computers, whatever. And he takes it home. It's got a password to log in, and it has a password hint text file that says, in order to get this data, you have to know where you went to high school, because maybe it's not public knowledge. And he types in the name of the high school, and it opens. And if he doesn't get it right, he comes back to my shop, and how do you confirm it's your property? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's really important. That's not being done here. Where's the data? WAD, where's all the data? And then he goes and decodes it and says, oh, I'll install Mac OS, whatever, and the product keys we'll put in later. Oh, it's got a differential file. Restore all product keys. He's back up and running. All his data's on the drive because it restores all the data. Because the utility I would use would say, would you like to restore your data and attempt to install all the product keys for all software? Yes, bang. That's how you do it. That's good service. Even if they don't come by to pick up the laptop, you got to do right by them, right? Or you just give it to Rudy Giuliani for opposition research so you can fuck over your customer's family? Again, did he own the data? Would you want me to own your data at a shop I'm doing a backup of? The rest of the other backup methods go all the way to the point of recording every erased file, and including files that have been excluded because they're marked bad, to make a real copy. Did he make one? Did he make more than one? Where are they? Is he answering these questions? Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.